investigation into Donald Trump and his company. A special grand jury could decide whether to indict the former president or any Trump Organization employee. Potential witnesses have already been contacted, and this investigation all started with the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. The Manhattan DA probe was launched on the basis of that payment, which constituted illegal campaign donations. And Stormy Daniels joins me now. Thank you so much for being with us. We really do appreciate your time. And I think what we all want is an update into these various investigations. Have you been called to testify before this Manhattan grand jury?
I have not been called to testify yet, but I've been very forthcoming since the beginning of all this that I would love nothing more than my day in court and to give a deposition and to provide whatever evidence that they need from me. I mean, I have all the original forms and emails and wired transcripts and all of that stuff, and I'm happy to turn it over to anybody who needs it, honestly.
So as of now, what contact have you had with either Manhattan DA investigators or New York State investigators?
I know that my attorney, Clark Brewster, has been in contact with them and very forthcoming with my willingness to participate. I've had meetings with them about other issues. I've given depositions willingly about other cases involved. And we honestly really thought that the Supreme Court was going to step up and do the right thing, because this sets a really terrifying precedent that the president is above the law. And I really just, whether you are on, the side of Trump or not, I just don't understand how one man can go to prison for a crime and somebody else can't even be investigated.
But as of now, you haven't sat for a deposition or answered any direct questions involving this investigation into Donald Trump. You mentioned Michael Cohen obliquely there. He has served time for this, federal time, for the illegal campaign donations. And this is what he wrote the other day on Twitter. He said, I remain ready, willing, and able to fully cooperate with SDNY on any prosecution of Trump, Weisselberg, et cetera, but not including but not limited to the Stormy Daniels hush money payment scheme directed by and for the benefit of Trump, for which I was convicted and sentenced. So Michael Cohen wrote that, and you sort of retweeted him, and you wrote, same. If you had the chance, what would you tell investigators if you had the chance, or the grand jury?
I would tell them everything I know. I would tell them that I was approached. I would tell them that I have evidence that the money came from an account set up by Donald Trump, or at the direction of Donald Trump. I will tell them that that money was traced back to Russian funds. I would give them copies of the bank wires and all of the transcripts for that. And I think that anybody should be really terrified that a normal citizen could take the fall for somebody in power. That should terrify anybody.
Mm-hmm. And again, just to be clear, on the Russian funds part, that's not something that CNN has independently verified. But Michael Cohen did serve time for this. Mm-hmm. Again, federal time for this. Separately, there's been an FEC investigation and an FEC fine issued to the National Enquirer for its role in the hush money payments to Karen McDougal, okay? So the FEC acted against the Enquirer for the money paid to Karen McDougal. But the FEC bailed. Republicans on the Federal Election Commission, they blocked an investigation into the former president himself. In your case, saying, quote, the public record is complete with respect to the conduct at issue in these complaints, and Mr. Cohen has been punished by the government of the U.S. for the conduct at issue in these matters. Thus, we concluded that pursuing these matters further was not the best use of agency resources. So what do you think about the fact that they basically let the former president off the hook here?
Like I said before, I think that it's repulsive, and any citizen of the United States should be afraid.
Michael Cohen there, we just read the tweet there, and I'm not sure, I think some people know this, I'm not sure everyone does. Michael Cohen's payments to you were what started this whole big mess. Cohen served time. Obviously, you could see how there might be friction between the two of you, but actually, you appeared in his podcast, and now he is someone who you talk to. And I don't know if you're friends or not, but what would you say the nature of your relationship is, and how interesting do you find that now this is someone you have a relationship with?
I wouldn't go so far to say that I have a relationship with him or that we're friends. he dodged me for a very long time, and I thought that it took a lot of courage to face me live on his show. And he did apologize to me, and I felt like he was very honest and forthcoming, and I know that that must have been very difficult for him. And I do believe that people change, and I commend him for standing up and doing the right thing, because all of those things he said about me and all the vicious attacks and how many times he called me a liar and he wouldn't acknowledge the things he'd done, he was the one reaching out to me and basically threatening me to make more statements. He's the one that leaked the fact that there was an NDA by trying to promote a book. All of this kind of goes back to him, and he took full responsibility and profusely apologized to me. I do believe that he is trying to do the right thing, and I do believe that he is sorry. And for that, I'm grateful.
I'm curious, the former president himself spoke at a rally over the weekend. Generally speaking, what do you think now when you see him as former president out there doing what he does?
It's comical almost. It's sad, and I didn't see what you were talking about, but I try not to follow him anymore. It's just absurd, and I almost feel sorry for him in a way, because I don't believe he's all mentally there.
I don't know where you were on January 6th during the insurrection itself, but what was your reaction to that and his role in it?
Like I said, it's just utterly repulsive and disgusting. And every day I think this can't get more ridiculous, that we can't really be living this. And it's like, you know, the Trump organization's like, hold my beer, watch what I can do now. And no one seems to stop him.
What do you think of the fact that he in the statements that he makes and when he talks, he leaves open the possibility of running for office again, running for president again? Do you A, think he will, or B, what would you think? What would you think about that?
Well, it's within his legal right, I guess, at this point in time for him to do so. I think that it's absurd, but honestly, he's crazy enough to do it.
And what do you think about the fact that the Republican Party now, Liz Cheney and others, have been ousted for speaking out against Donald Trump, but that there's an entire political party, one of two parties in the United States, that's really tying itself in knots to cater to this person?
I think that it's a very slippery slope into something that we don't want to be. And like I said before, I'm just astounded every day that people are making these choices and doing this. And collectively, as a citizen of the United States, we citizens, we really should be paying closer attention. This should not be okay. And this is not personal against Mr. Trump or the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I just think people need to really wake up and really pay attention before it's in a state that we can't come back from.
Again, it's been some time since we heard from you. Obviously, you sat down with Anderson and we heard a great deal. I'm wondering, you know, now, as we're halfway through 2021, how life has changed for you.
I mean, we're going to need a lot more time to talk about that. It's changed in every way. You know, when I made the decision to come forward, I knew that I would be kind of the center of all this hatred and attacks. And that's okay to a degree. I have pretty thick skin, and I knew that it was something that I had to do. I was unprepared for how far those ripples would go, to the fact of like having a hard time finding someone who rents a house to me, not being able to find work. I had no idea that the reach of the government was so far that they could put false charges, 17 of them, by the way, on my FBI record to keep me from working for 4 months. I didn't know that it could impact me so financially. People think I made a lot of money off of this, but think about what I've spent. And I was asked as recently as last night by your producer, do I regret doing this? And I made the joke, it changes by the hour. A lot of times I do regret. I can't get back the time I lost with my daughter. I can't get back the friends that left. I can't get back the fact that no one's probably ever going to want to be in a relationship with me because, well, for obvious reasons. Who wants to follow that? But just no privacy, fear all the time that I've been shot at, you know, that I couldn't use the bathroom without bodyguards for years. All of that stuff. But at the end of the day, at least I can look myself in the mirror and know that I did the right thing for the right reasons.
Again, you know, we cannot independently verify what you just said about the FBI, but I appreciate what you said about how your life has changed and some of the things you have suffered over the last year. Stormy Daniels, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, nearly 100 candidates killed